Greetings, everybody, from the dank basement. This is your wicked Uncle Squinty, and today we're going to be talking about cooking with snuff. Because it's a hazardous operation, I am wearing the bathrobe of destruction and the shades of eternal protection. Because we're going to be cooking with snuff. No, we're not going to be making linguine with snuff in it. You know, there's nothing like that. That's not what I'm talking about. If you watched the last video, you're a fool. If you watched the last video I did on cooking with snuff, you know I'm talking about blending snuff to come up with new and interesting aromas to stick up your nose, and I know you love to do that. So, as you may recall, if you were smart enough to watch the previous cooking with snuff video, I found this jar when I was looking for a sody pop. Yep. This is where I put the coffee snuffs that never really were. And I was going to try to fix them by putting in a few very delicious, aromatic Costa Rican caracolilla coffee beans. They're excellent. Tiny little beans, super aromatic, and I thought they would be just the perfect thing to perk up this blend of what is essentially lackluster crap snuff. What kind of snuffs would I put in a jar of crap snuff? Well, let's talk about the Gawith and Hogarth Tia Maria. When I was a bartender, worked at a liquor store, to me, Tia Maria was kind of like a Kahlua clone. It was like a coffee liqueur. The Tia Maria we got, in the States anyway, never had quinine in it, but Gawith and Hogarth have decided that they are putting quinine because that's their recipe for Tia Maria, and it sucks. It's terrible. It does not smell like coffee. It does not smell like quinine, thank God. It doesn't really smell like much of anything. It's just unpleasant. I'm sure, I can just see it now. There's a bunch of Brits watching this, old schoolers, that are going, I beg your pardon. Gawith and Hogarth Tia Maria is an elegant and venerated snuff. Back when we were back at Eton, we used to roll up our nephews and use them as large snorting tubes so we could snuff kilograms of the Gawith and Hogarth Tia Maria. I don't care what kind of tradition it has. It's garbage. It blows gopher. And I'm from Minnesota, so I know. Stuff sucks. Horrible. But I had 25 grams of it. Yay! And what are you going to do with 25 grams of something that fundamentally tastes like excrement? I'm sorry, Gawith and Hogarth. I like some of your stuff. Not much of it. Some of your stuff I like. Spartan I really like. I'm going to call it wrong. Western Glory, I think is what it's called. I really like that. They do some very nice snuffs. Tia Maria is not, and I repeat, not one of them. And the second crap snuff, okay, here's where I'm going to call out Roderick from Toque. How dare you? It shouldn't be called espresso. It should be called excuso. Because it's the worst excuse. When you see espresso, what do you think of when you see the word espresso? You think of finely ground, rich, aromatic coffee brewed through hot, high-pressure steam. You do not think of this milquetoast, almost not there, horrifyingly bad, what is there, coffee aroma. I love your tins, and I love a bunch of your snuffs. Peach, delicious. Strawberry, best in the business. Toque Coke, can't beat it. You guys make some brilliant snuffs. Spanish Gem, fantastic. Berwick Brown, fantastic. SP Extra, or Extra SP, I forget. They're good snuffs. And then I'm going to give you a delicious jolt of espresso, and I'm expecting like Starbucks on crack. I'm expecting the best espresso. Maybe it's because the Brits drink more tea than they drink coffee. Something. I don't know what the statistics are. I have no idea. Maybe Roderick has never smelled a cup of espresso or his snuff blenders. This stuff is garbage. It's horrendous. How dare you call it espresso snuff, you limey bastard. I don't care if your parents were married. You don't call that garbage espresso. And that's why I'm calling you out, Roderick, because not only do I have the bathrobe of destruction and the shades of eternal protection, I wield the thumb of destiny. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. That's right, Roderick. You and me and the thumb of destiny. I challenge you to a thumb war. And the winner has to buy the other one a shot of whiskey and hopefully a tin of a decent coffee snuff. You lazy sod. I'm trying to use all the British insults I know that aren't obscene, and it's not working. But that's my bad. And it doesn't change the fact that I have the thumb. I have the thumb of destiny, Roderick, and I am challenging you to a thumb war. Because you need to buy me a shot of really good whiskey. We call it Scotch here in normal land. Over there in the land of the Queen and Kings of England, and there's all this wonderful history, marvelous architecture, Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Boy George. Never mind your musical tradition, but you got some good guys there, good women coming out. God knows you've had some really lovely royalty and some really freaky lizard people royalty too. You got a lot going on, man, for such a little island, but you don't know how to make a decent coffee snuff, and I'm going to thumb wrestle you. Just you and me, mano a mano, thumbo a thumbo. Roderick, how dare you? Love your tins. Love about 80% of your snuffs I've tried, but the espresso, recall it. Bury it. Use it as roach powder. How dare you? Thumb war. It's the only solution. Thumb war. Thumb wrestling. That's right. The thumb of destiny will claim its victory. And if you don't have any thumbs, well, then you better find another appendage to wrestle me with there, fella. Because I'm serious about this. But I'm getting off my story. Because I'm so damn mad about the Toque Excuso. Excuso! It isn't espresso. God, I've had better coffee out of a vending machine. Anyway. So I took the rest of my Excuso and some Tia Maria. Did I already mention how much I loathe the Tia Maria? It blows. It sucks the blue-veined fuzz baggie. And I don't say that lightly. I like most snuffs. I really do. And I even like a lot of English snuffs. They can tend to be kind of tame and pedestrian, but they can be really good. I've had some great ones from all the snuff mills in the British Isles. Everyone has a good range of wonderful snuffs. Every single mill, including Toque, including Gawith and Hogarth. But I'm telling you guys, not for coffee. You blew it. Both of yous. Both of yous, I'm telling you. Both of yous. If I could find Gawith and or Hogarth, or however it's pronounced, I have two thumbs. The thumb of destiny and the other thumb of destiny. I could do it two-handed with one hand tied behind my back and blindfolded. Because that's how I am. I'm badass when it comes to my coffee snuff, and I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. So I put the Tia Maria and the Excuso into this jar with these really, really good coffee beans. And then because I have a little bit, maybe a gram, left in a tap box, I've got the Samuel Gawith Black Coffee, which is, it's getting closer. Still not my Nirvana snuff. It's still not my Holy Grail. But it's good, right? It's delicious. So I put some of that in here because I'm almost at the end of the tap box anyway. Throw in the coffee beans, forget about it. Now, if you watched the last video, I left it too long. It's recommended you scent coffee beans or scent snuff with coffee beans for like a few days. And this has been in there for a few months. Fortunately, the beans have not gotten rancid. But what I'm going to need to do is something mechanical to this snuff. And I will explain that. I have essentially two good ideas that I've discovered about blending snuffs, especially if they're from different manufacturers. I think there's a trick to it, and I think I've discovered a couple of ways to do it. Now, very disappointed because, like I said, Toque Excuso, and I don't have a clever name for Tia Maria. If I did, I'd be whipping that out, but I think Gawith and Hogarth are funny enough names as it is, so we'll just leave that there. So, still on the search for the ultimate coffee snuff. I figured, if I can't find a good one, I'm going to have to, basically make my own, blend my own. So I tried it with that. We'll see how that turns out. I'm going to have to sieve that mechanically and grind it up maybe a little bit with a mortar and pestle. Maybe I'll run out and get myself yet another burr coffee grinder so that I can actually grind it evenly. That, I think, will help. Well, then we will go on to coffee experiment number 2. In my hand, I am holding a tight vac box. I got this for snuff storage. They're too expensive. I'm sorry. They're not worth the money you are paying for them, but they're a really cool idea. Essentially, this is a container that with this little button, you can burp the air out of it. It seals tight. It's a tight vacuum, and it keeps snuff and other things you want to keep fresh, very fresh. I got these from my good buddy, Two-Day Tom, as they used to call him when he ran Nicotine Rush, Tom at snuffgear.com. And yes, I paid retail. I bought a bunch of these to decant snuff in, and my wife is really mad at me because I spent a bunch of money on what is essentially really cleverly constructed plastic. And she wasn't terribly happy, but I demonstrated its value, so now she's keeping her shrunken heads in one of them. And that's a good thing, because I get sick of tripping over the shrunken heads. It's embarrassing. I'm blind. I don't see the head. I asked my wife once, Kay, can I get a little head? So she hands me one. It's just not funny. So anyway, I decided I would do another coffee snuff in the tight vac container, and I had a couple of others that I could throw in here. But not a lot of different coffees. I only had 2 others, sort of coffee scents, unless you count the Grotto from Herschel, which I can't get out of the tap box because it's a stupid tap box. Have I ever told you how much I hate tap boxes? I hate them in general, but those little round ones, garbage. You can't get a decent bump of snuff out of them to save your life, and if you do, you get too much. It goes all over me. And as you know, I frequently get snuff all over me, and I get tired of it. And I only had 2 coffee snuffs, and one of them isn't even really a snuff. I have the Abraxas Cafe 11, which it is a brilliant snuff. This is like the best of the best of the best coffee sorta snuffs, Cafe 11. But to me, this does taste more like coffee liqueur. It has an alcohol edge to it. It's very sweet. I almost even get a little brown sugar or vanilla, brown sugar and vanilla, I should say. Something. I can't decide what it is. It's a brilliant snuff, wonderful base tobacco, coarse enough that it's easy to insufflate without choking, fine enough so it's easy to keep in your nose. I bought a 50-gram container as part of the Abraxas bundle from Mr. Snuff, and absolutely no regrets on this. This is just absolutely brilliant snuff, but it's not the rich black coffee I was looking for. Now, I can't find Cafe Royale anyway, where I understand that was the best. They don't make it anymore. Supposedly, snuffstore.co.uk has a house brand called Cafe Noir. I've seen a couple of reviews. Cafe Noir is French for black coffee, so I would hope it would be a good coffee scent. Haven't tried that one yet. So I still am seeking that magical coffee nirvana. But this comes very close, the Abraxas Cafe 11. I like it very, very much. In fact, it's in my top 5 snuffs, and it's also in my top 5 beginner snuffs, even though it's real expensive. On a per gram basis, it's some of the most expensive snuff you can buy, along with the Sir Walter Scott's Fine English Border snuff, the YY Smile, which I have no idea what the hell that is. I've got some. I'm afraid to use it. I went back and read the description. It says it's really wonderful for enhancing the effect of certain medicinal herbs. So I take a big bump of it, then smoke a joint. I'm going to feel real good. So I'm saving it for like my 57th birthday or something. But I've got that too. Anyway, so it's an expensive snuff, but it's worth it. And I felt kind of guilty because I put a few grams of it into this tight vac box to try the next coffee experiment, and I almost hate to waste it. The other ingredient I'm holding in my hand in the previous take of this video, which will not be posted, I dumped this all over me because I cut the tape, which instead of using it as a tap box allows me to pop it open like a tin. And then it was easy to get the snuff out to mix with the Abraxas. Now, this is mentholin. Mentholin is from Mullins. I love Mullins. Hi, Yap Bess. Hello, everybody. Hello. Dank u wel for these fantastic snuffs. I love Mullins. Mullins to me is like that really great cousin you have who lives in the country, and he does everything old school. He bakes his own bread and chops his own wood, and he's got a nice little cabin out there, and he goes out and catches his own fish and traps his own beaver. That's so cool. And it's like Grizzly Adams. If Grizzly Adams were Dutch and sort of socialist and socially responsible, I should say, and just really great people. That might be what I think of when I think of the Star Mill and the Lily Mill near Kralings, the Netherlands, and Mullins. Anyway, they make this really weird product, and I should do a review of it on its own because it really deserves it. This is called mentholin, and mentholin is a non-tobacco sniffing powder. They call it a snuff, but let's be real. If it ain't tobacco, and if you don't put it up your nose, it isn't snuff. If it's tobacco you put in your mouth, it's oral tobacco, dip, or chew. It is not snuff. I don't care what the hell it says on the Copenhagen can. If you're not sticking it up your nose, Bubba, that ain't snuff. Well, this isn't snuff either, really, because there's no tobacco in it. But sometimes, you don't want tobacco. And as the name implies, mentholin, it has a bunch of menthol in it. But surprise, when I bought it, I didn't really understand this. How good the coffee scent is in this. It is stellar. It's really great. And I understand why they put the menthol in. I think the Europeans, like, they make choices like, shall I have sex? Shall I have sex? Shall I eat bland food? Or let me put more menthol in the snuff. And I think it's a religion with them. I think like there's a high priest of menthol, and he hangs around the Purcell factory with like an incense thing, except it's menthol, and he's just dumping menthol and everything. I swear. I bet they've got menthol in their coffee in the cafeteria at Purcell, and I think that's probably where they got the idea for the grotto snuff. We must put more menthol in the coffee. It's so good. Ja, und ja. Let us have more menthol with something that was never intended to have menthol in it, like coffee. It will be a hoot. So let's do this. Oh, und ja, and I like it a lot. I like it better than the Scheiße movies I used to watch when I was a boy. I'm sorry, that's a really horrible German accent, and to my German friends, my humblest apologies. Entschuldigen Sie mir bitte. I'm just another dumb Amerikaner. But anyway, so they come out, De Kralings comes out with this mentholin, and it's really good coffee, and it looks like hell. Now, I can't show it to you. There's no way I'll be able to get it out of the box without dumping it all over me again. But I've been told it looks like wet cardboard. It's the color of wet gray cardboard. It does not look appetizing to look at. It's really easy to snuff. I don't know if there's an energy component, but I sure feel invigorated when I take it. I don't think there's caffeine or guarana or anything in it. I should ask Mr. Bess about that, because I think that there might be a little something, because it is very nice. It's very refreshing. Too much menthol. But the menthol at least opens up your nose for the delicious coffee. I wish they would just do coffee. Do the mentholin and call it coffalin or something. And, package it up like this. Just mentholin without the menthol or with less menthol might be really good. So I mixed this into that. And I also had about 3 grams, also from De Kralings, of their Toque, which I believe is a Virginia-based tobacco. Now, this becomes important when we get to the tips section of this video, so hang on. It's important to kind of figure out what the base tobacco is before you blend the snuffs, if you can. And I'll explain why in a minute. So I took 3 parts of the Toque snuff, 5 parts of the mentholin, and 8 parts of the Abraxas Cafe 11 and put it in here and mixed it up as best I could with my long-handled snuff spoon. We're going to take, this is the first time I have tried this, actually. Even when I did the last take of the video, I didn't get this far. So this will be my first try of a snuff I just sort of blended together last night. Badly, I think, because I didn't do it right. Again, I'll explain that in the tips section. Oh, ja, das ist ein Menthol in der Nasal. Ja, das ist richtig. I'm speaking German because I speak almost no Dutch. Here's the Dutch I know. Alsjeblieft, that's please and you're welcome. Dank u wel, which is very formal, thank you very much. Dank je wel, which is among friends, less formal, thank you very much. And klootzak. You can look the last one up. It's the only insult I know in Dutch. And by the way, English speakers cannot say the Dutch word for canal if their lives depended on it. We always sound like we're trying to hawk up phlegm when we do it. Or like we're gagging on something in a porno movie, if you catch my drift. You know, not that I've ever been there, except in some very strange, disturbing dreams I had as a boy, but we won't talk about that right now. Yeah, this is bloody awful, as my British friends would say. This is worse than Toque Excuso. Just by itself, this is horrible. The menthol screws it, destroys all the nice flavors of the Abraxas, and the Choco did absolutely nothing for it. Back to the drawing board. Now, I have had a couple of successes. We'll talk about my successes in just a minute and why they were successes, but now let's get to the tips section. I wish I knew how to annotate these, but I can't see the time running on my videos. It's a byproduct of being blind and YouTube's interface and my speech synthesizer. There's a lot I can't do on YouTube. I'm hoping someday I'll be able to remove some of these videos, but the video manager is pretty tough too. So bear with me. These get long. I know I wish I could edit them, but I can't edit them either with Windows Movie Maker. Everything is very visually. Hey, it's a movie maker, you know, dude, what do you expect? You know, it's going to be visually oriented. I just can't do it. The best I can do is capture video like this and then just save it and throw it up on YouTube. And I apologize for my lack of technical expertise. If this were audio, I'd be blowing your minds. But video, not so much. So let's talk about tips. Let me take a slug of my delicious coffee. By the way, this is the same kind of bean that I was using to flavor the mix of the Toque Excuso, the Tia Maria, and whatever else I threw in there. This is really good coffee. So I'll take a hit of that. God, that's nice. Caracolillo. Even though that's my old stale cup from this afternoon, that was good. Here's my hot cup. I got coffee cups, Snuff, sex dolls, everything scattered around me. All right. Here's what I've learned so far from combining Snuffs. I've learned 3 really valuable things. I think they're valuable. And if I'm wrong about this, I know there are Snuff experts that are like watching my videos and laughing their asses off because I'm such a moron. I will be the first to admit I'm a real beginner. I've only been taking Snuff steadily for about 2 years, and there was a long space before that of another couple of years where I didn't snuff at all. Before that, a very brief flirtation, a couple of bad international transactions that led me to getting rotten Snuff, kind of put me off of it. And before that, it had been like 20-some years. It was back when I was 18 when I first tried nasal snuff, and I'm 55 now. So I'm not really expert at this. I just share what I'm learning, and I hope you guys enjoy the way I do it. But I'm no expert. You know, go to snuffhouse.org and read some of the threads there. They got people that are way smarter than I am about snuff. So I'm hoping somebody from Snuff House, some viewer, will correct me if any of these 3 tips are just plain wrong. First of all, is the mechanical part. I have discovered that if you combine snuffs of 2 different grinds, they don't really mix well together. They tend to separate. The larger particles are typically, of course, heavier. So the larger grains will sink to the bottom, no matter how much you stir it, and the lighter grains will stick to the sides of the container. They don't really have anything to bond with. If you have a real moist, coarse snuff and a real dry, fine snuff, you end up with coated little nuggets of coarse snuff that are coated in the finer snuff, and it doesn't really work. So the answer to that is you get yourself a coffee maker, or not a coffee maker, a coffee grinder that you don't intend to ever use to grind coffee. Just dedicate it to snuff. And use that to grind it all up to the same fine consistency. You can use a wire mesh sieve or screen and sieve out the snuff to try to get it more uniformly blended and also more uniform in size. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way by grinding it by hand in a mortar and pestle and then straining it or something like that. I mean, there's got to be a way that you can make it so all the grains of snuff are more or less equal in size. I think that will really help with both blending and with the pleasure of taking it up your nose. I think it gets bad if you have 2 or 3 different grinds at the same time. Some will stay in your nose, some will go back too far in your nose, and some will just plain fall out. Ignore that voice. The second thing I found, and this is kind of key, I think. I hope it's key. I hope I'm not deluded, but of course I probably am. And that is, you have to kind of be aware of the base tobacco flower when you're starting to blend 2 different or 3 different snuffs together. If you have, let's say, a Delakia, which has a real characteristic base tobacco flower taste, and you taste it in almost everything that they make. Almost everything they make. It's rampant in the FUBAR line. You can taste it all over that. Anything that's not a terribly flavored snuff, like their toasted, the FUBAR toasted, for example, the Sparrow from Delakia, all of them, they have the same sort of tobacco flower. It's finely ground. It's very farmy, rustic, aromatic. It's a lovely base. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people really don't like the Indian snuff characteristic smell. But it's really nice to me anyway. I like it very much. Okay. And let's say you've got that base Indian flower and you're going to combine it with a South African, which is way more farmy and even has a little manure and piss to it until you air it out a little bit. And you try to combine those two, you're going to have aromas fighting each other instead of complementing each other. Another good example would be an English snuff that is of a medium dark, let's say, combined with one of the American Brutons, or Scotches rather. Not only do you have a difference in grind, but you also have a radical difference in the base taste of the tobacco. The American Scotch is going to be much more smoky compared to anything you're going to get from England, and it's just not going to work. So the second tip, other than making sure that everything is uniformly ground, would be to make sure that without any scent at all, your base tobaccos will blend well. And the way you do that is you keep a couple of unscented snuffs, natural scented snuffs. And I suppose they're all scented to a degree. I mean, SPs certainly are and stuff. But if you can taste the tobacco flower, that's important. If you get the actual taste of the tobacco without the extra aromas in it, and see if you find 2 that work well together, that's going to be tough. That's going to be a lot of trial and error. Again, read snuffhouse.org, and you're going to learn a lot about the different base tobaccos. Also, the Snuff Taker's Ephemeris. If you're really into snuff, subscribe to this. I think it's probably a 1 or 2 person job putting this out. It's a great little sheet of information. You can subscribe to it. They mail it to you. It's in print. It's the old-fashioned type of deal. I understand. Of course, being blind, I've never seen it, and it doesn't come in Braille or talking books. But that might be a really good source of information about blending the different tobacco flowers together. Last and probably the most important thing I figured out, and I should have known it from back when I was brewing beer, you need to keep notes. Look, there's 2 kinds of snuff takers, and I've been both of them. And when I'm schizophrenic, I am both of them. And the first kind of snuff taker is the nicotine replacement guy. This is a snuff taker who is trying to kick cigarettes or reduce his cigarette consumption, maybe stop using so much dip, chew, that kind of stuff. Or somebody whose e-cigarette, it just isn't quite enough. That's a nicotine replacement user. That's someone who needs the nicotine, likes the sensation of the nicotine, and uses snuff as a replacement. Okay, the second type is the snuff taker who is more involved in the hobby. He or she searches for great flavors, excuse me, basement shaman, sorry, scents, aromas, and may start even playing with it. Playing with the snuff, trying things like I'm trying, different grinding techniques, different sieving techniques, different scents, aromas combined together. Damn it, see, I almost said flavors again. To me, they're flavors, but the purists all, you don't know what you're talking about. They're not on your tongue, so they can't be flavors. They absolutely are scents or aromas. And never use the word perfume to describe a snuff because they don't use the same things like fixatives like ambergris that they put in real perfume. So don't ever use the word perfume, and don't ever call women a bitch, and always be ashamed that you're Caucasian, and vote Democrat, and be sure to pay your taxes, and say the Boy Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, and be a good boy, and eat your supper, including the spinach, and go to bed when you should. Yeah, okay, I get it. They're scents, aromas, not flavors. Will you please STFU? Thank you. If I say flavor, it's just an incorrect synonym. I want to live with the synonym girl. That's a really obscure reference unless you're my age. Uh, anyway, so the third thing is keep really good records. If you find a combination of aromas that really works, you're going to want to write down those proportions and the recipe and notes so that you can do it again. And if it really sucks, like my mentholin abraxas choco combo here, this is more dismal. I'm telling you, this is more disgusting to me than either Tia Maria or Toque Excuso. I know it's hard to blend snuffs. I don't know how they do it. They're real artists, whatever the mill, whether it's Toque or Purcell or Bernard's or anybody. This is an art that goes back almost 300 years, maybe more. And these people are absolute artists. So for me to get out here and go, oh, it's Toque Excuso, or be really disrespectful, I'm not showing disrespect to the snuff blenders. It's not that at all. It's just, to me, those particular blends suck! And I do have the thumb of destiny. Roderick, if you're still watching this, my challenge still holds. 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a thumb war. And you're going to end up buying me a shot of whiskey because I'm seldom beaten. The only time I was ever beaten, I was beaten by a kindergartner with 6 fingers, and I think he cheated. But kindergartners with 6 fingers will do that to you. Damn it. Okay. So I've got some success stories, a couple of them actually. You've already, if you looked at my Grape Concord review, which I posted, back in 1936, it turned out really well. Because see, I used a really good Toque scent called Peanut Butter. I mixed it with the Temptation Grape Concord, and I got me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it's good. I mean, it really is. It's like, what are you snorting today? Well, I'm snorting a PB&J. It's delicious. It doesn't work if you use the chunky peanut butter, though. And by the way, chunky peanut butter. That's good. Freudian slip. Chunky peanut butter. Oh, fuck it. The joke isn't going to work anyway. So anyway. So that was one success. Now, another success I had was with, and here's another example of Toque brilliance, as opposed to Excuso, the world's worst coffee snuff, second to Tia Maria, which is truly rat poison. It's horrible. They make a Coca-Cola snuff. It's called Toque Coke. That name is so daring on so many levels. Copyright infringement, drug reference. I mean, talk about balls the size of the Queen's goiter. That's freaking amazing. It's like, you got some seeds, Roderick. You come out and call this Coke. I'm surprised you haven't gotten a terse phone call from Atlanta, Georgia, and some uppity, self-righteous attorney. Excuse me, sir, but are you aware that Coca-Cola is an internationally registered trademark? I think we're going to need to sue y'all. Yeah, no. I hope it doesn't happen because it's great stuff. It's Toque Coca-Cola. It is so good. It's one of the things they do brilliantly. And I thought, you know what? I love a cherry Coke. I want cherry Coke, man. When I buy Coca-Cola, a lot of times I'll buy the cherry Coke, but it's even better when you make it at home, a little maraschino cherry juice or some real cherry syrup and that real Coca-Cola. By the way, get the Mexican Coca-Cola. I'm coming down hard on the sugar versus corn syrup debate. In Coca-Cola, it does make a difference. You got to go back to using cane sugar Coca-Cola, please. Cane sugar. I know it's expensive because I know they charge me like $850 for a 12-pack of Mexican Coca-Cola, which has the real sugar in it. But do that because it's much better with sugar in it than corn syrup. And I come from a corn farming area, but hey, you guys will make plenty of money selling it for fuel, so don't sweat it. So I took the Toque Coke and I was going to make a cherry Coke. Good idea. Delicious. But I made the mistake of using Toque Cherry, which is not as bad as the Excuso, but it's kind of chemically tasting. I did a review on it, and I liked it a lot better on the first pinch than I did by the sixth. By the time I got to pinch number 6, I was pretty much sick of the chemical edge to the cherry. Don't like it, and I will not like it ever. I wasn't thrilled either, though, with the Galwith cherry. It must be hard to do a real natural cherry scented snuff. The closest we get is the cherry cordial, the cherry liqueur flavored Abraxas ceresis, which is truly good. But again, like all Abraxas snuffs, these are connoisseur snuffs that are a little more expensive. Excuse me, my French friends hate me. Connoisseur snuffs. It's going to be more expensive, but it's really good. So I go try to make the cherry Coke, and it was dismal. And somebody posted to my other Cooking with Snuff video here, try Tiger Cherry. Why limit yourself to a tobacco snuff? Try the Tiger Cherry Energy Snuff. Okay. So it's good, and I take a little bit, and I come up with like the world's best cherry Coke. It's so good. So whoever posted that, I would have to go look and find out which of my subscribers wrote that. But wow, what a great idea. 2 parts of the Tiger Cherry to 8 parts of the Toque Coke is just about right. Mix the Coke to the cherry 4-to-1, and you have to sieve this one because the granules of sugar in the Tiger Cherry are just a little bit larger than the granules in the Toque Coke. And remember, we're trying to get a uniform consistency, I think, if we can. Now, I might be totally wrong on that. I hope Snuffster, the manufacturer of Abraxas, I do not know his real name, the blender of Abraxas, will do me the courtesy of sending me a letter to tell me that I'm full of shit or not. It would be very helpful to know. So that was my cherry Coke. And then, you guys ever mix Coca-Cola with lemonade? It's like one of my favorite drinks. I'm not a big Arnold Palmer fan. I don't like the iced tea and lemonade thing so much. But you mix Coca-Cola with some lemonade. It's a little sweet, so throw in a lemon wedge with it. It's delicious. When I was a kid, you'd run out of Coca-Cola. You'd get down, the 2-liter bottle is about, 4 inches from the bottom or something. And you got 6 people who all want soft drinks. My mom would mix up a pitcher of lemonade, and we'd mix the two together, and it's a wonderful flavor. So I took my favorite lemon snuff, Wilson's of Sherrill Lemon Grove. Now I have a tin. If you saw that review, you'll see I was stupid and I let the tin kind of dry out. It sat too long unprotected. It was not in plastic. It was not decanted into glass. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that lemon snuff. This has gotten dry. But I combined this with the Coca-Cola, 2 parts Coke to 1 part of this, of the Wilson's of Sherrill Lemon Grove. And I came up with that same flavor I remember from when I was like 12, the lemon Coke, lemonade Coca-Cola mix. It's really good. So I've had 3 successes and so far 2 dismal failures. And I'm sure that there will be more. Fortunately, this time, I'm remembering to write down my recipes, good and bad, so I don't repeat my mistakes. I'm trying, insofar as my amateur nose can tell, to blend like-scented base tobacco flowers, regardless of what the top scent is. And I try to make sure they're mechanically pulverized so that they're about the same grind, close anyway. It's made the experience a little better for me, and I think if you try those tips, it will for you too. One last thing, I don't want to become redundant, but I do have to say this, and I've had a lot of people ask me to say this. These videos and the products they portray are intended for consumption by adults of legal age only. In the United States of America, that includes persons over the age of 18 years. If you are younger than 18 years, I will not insult you by putting up a fake age blocker because I know you'll bypass it anyway. I respect you, and I'm asking you to respect me. This isn't for you. And if you're currently not a tobacco user, please don't start. It's addictive. It's more addictive for some people than heroin. You don't need tobacco, and if you haven't started using it, I am begging you, as someone who has destroyed his singing voice, his lung capacity, and his health with cigarette smoke, don't do it. Please. There's better ways to be part of a group. There's better ways to be cool. There are better ways to get satisfaction. Dip is not all that much better than cigarettes, although I will give you this. It's safer than cigarettes if only by a little, it might be worth switching. If you can't do any other kind of tobacco except cigarettes and dip, use the dip. But dip itself has been shown to be carcinogenic to your mouth, your tongue, your gums, your throat, and to cause some digestive problems, including acid reflux, and maybe even stomach cancer, if you gut your juice from your dip. It's also disgusting, and I've already preached all about the mud jug lickers. Hey, I'm a mud jug licker. I'm a mud jug licker. I like to listen to country. I like to lick and spit in my mud jug. Then I'll go watch NASCAR and give my cousin the shag. No, I'm sorry. I got a lot of friends who are rednecks. They're going to freaking kill me. You're pretty funny, Bubba. Gonna kick your ass now. No, I got respect for everybody, but I'm telling you, I don't have a lot of respect for the dip itself. I love mud jug. If it ain't dip, it ain't shit. That's eloquent. Boy, do you ever sound like you went to a good high school. That's all right. Mud Jug's videos are hilarious and they're worth watching, so go watch them. He's good. I should put him on my channel, but I don't know how to do that. Like I said, I got some access problems with YouTube. Still haven't figured it out. Anyway, and the final thing I do want to say, other than the warnings against using tobacco if you haven't already used them, and don't be hanging around this channel if you're a kid, please. It just makes problems for me and problems for YouTube and problems with your parents. Who needs that shit, right? So don't. The last thing I want to say before I close this, and I'll make it brief, but I got to say it one more time. Roderick from Toque Tobacco. I've got your number and the thumb of destiny. And I challenge you to a thumb war. If I can ever cross this big greasy pond that separates your little island from my big fuckhole over here called the United States of America. If I can swim the English Anal, I'm going to get there. And I'm going to challenge you to a thumb war. And the winner has to buy the loser a shot of very good whiskey. And don't be giving me that single malt crap. I want to know that somebody in the British Isles knows how to blend something. You failed with espresso. Excuso. You failed. You failed. I hope it haunts your dreams. I hope you have one of those moments where you wake up in the middle of the night going, did I really say that in third grade? And did I really make excuso? You know those moments, the ones where you're kind of falling out of your tree in your sleep because you feel guilted by something. I hope you have lots of those moments over excuso. And with that, you're listening to the Uncle Squinty insanity. I'm losing my mind. If you tune to this channel long enough, you will eventually see me lose it completely, and that you will see them haul me away under sedation. I promise you. Because the way the world is, the way my life is, the way YouTube is, and the way this Toque crap espresso is, I'm losing my mind. From the Dink Boostment, this is your Wickle Squackle Winky, wishing you good snuffing, and God bless.